Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be filming my review on the Colourpop Fade into Hue eyeshadow palette. You guys know I have been asking for a palette like this from Colourpop for a little while now. So many of you guys tagged me on Instagram and sent it to my DMs when it was announced. I did get sent this in PR, by the way, just wanted to let you guys know before we get started. But I have a lot to say about the palette, I feel. So we're going to talk about my thoughts on the palette. I'm going to show you swatches, comparisons. I also have my 3 looks as well, so if you guys are interested in any of that, then please continue watching. Alright, so this is what the palette looks like. Lots of color, very fun. I feel like today I am not on brand. I'm not monochromatic with the palette. I feel like I try to be monochromatic with my eye look, but I feel like I'm the complete opposite of the palette, which is very unlike me. You guys know me. I'm always matching with the palette and my makeup look. But anyway, this palette is $34 US. You will receive 30 shades, and as you can see, there is a row by row color theme, and you sort of get the rainbow. I don't really know where to start with my review because I just feel like I have a lot to say, but let's start off with my first impressions. I feel like that's always a good place to start. So when I first saw the palette, I of course was really excited because I've been asking for a palette like this from Colourpop for a while now. But when I saw it, I was like, there's no red. There is no red shadow in this palette, and I'm like, red is a really solid color in the rainbow. And their main squeeze palette, the red monochromatic palette, is one of my favorite, if not my favorite 9-pan colorful palette. Like, I love that palette so much, though I was already a little disappointed that I didn't add any reds in. From the pictures, this did seem like a red, and I would say it does lean more to the pink side rather than the red. So in this palette, there is like no red shadows, and then I also noticed that there was a lot of pressed glitters. I get why there's pressed glitters in a palette like this, because I feel like when you do more crazier and bright looks, you can think of glitters, like incorporating glitters in that, but I was just sort of surprised because I feel like this was a palette that was highly requested, and I know a lot of people wouldn't buy this palette because of the pressed glitters, and there's like 4 in here, so it's not just like 1 or 2, there's 4. And I sort of was a little bit surprised because they haven't added a lot of pressed glitters in the palettes for a little while now, so seeing it in this palette, I was like, oh, okay. So that was my first initial impressions on the palette, and now that I have the palette, I've played with it, I have swatched it, I will say that the palette does not have a lot of depth. A lot of the shades in here are very sort of light to medium. I mean, I created this look today and it does lean towards the medium and deep side, but I feel like they could have went a little bit darker. And when you have 30 shades, I feel like it should almost cover everything that you need in a colorful palette. It's very hard to make this, I would say, wearable. You will get a very intense, bright look, and I guess when I was thinking of a colorful palette, I was hoping they would go more of the route similar to James Charles' palette with Morphe, or even the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I think some of the shades in here already dupe itself. They are too similar, and there's just not a lot of depth and variation of shades, and I get it. Like, they wanted to make this palette to look really pretty and rainbow and aesthetically pleasing. I get that, but if we're talking about user friendly, it's still really easy to use, of course, and I really do love all of the looks that I created. I think it's been a while since I've had so much fun with a palette, because I feel like I have the most fun when I play with color. Of course, I love my like everyday shadows, my neutrals, my warm tones, but there's only so much you can do with that. But I feel like when it comes to a colorful palette like this, I have so much fun, you know, playing with it, and I did have so much fun with it. Like I was saying before, the James Charles palette or the Take Me Back to Brazil, those palette has a black in it, and it also has some more neutral shades that you can complement the brightest shadows with, and it makes it a little bit more wearable. But this palette, I would say you would have to still pair it with another palette to make it more daily wear, if that makes sense. Obviously, you know, with my reviews, I'm always very thorough. Some people don't like that, some people do. So I think overall, if you just want to skip ahead, overall, I really do love the palette. I think it's very enjoyable to use. If you already have a lot of their other 9-pan colorful monochromatic palettes, then I don't think you really need this. This, to me, since I already own a lot of those 9 pans, this didn't really add so much uniqueness into my collection. But if you're a beginner, you want some color in your collection, then this is a really great palette to have. I think it's a really great value for the variation of shades you are getting. I think me right now, I would still dive into my 9 pans over this, I feel. Me predicting. But with that being said, I'm gonna dive in row by row and tell you guys what I would have loved. But I do get why they did it like this. You know, their 9 pans are very, very successful, very popular, and it's just prettier to look at. I guess if they were to add a brown or a black, it would definitely change how the palette would look. I feel like the BH Cosmetic one is super, super affordable. You get a bigger range of colors, and that one doesn't have any pressed glitters, neither does the James Charles one. I think it really just depends on you. You gotta take in consideration the formulation. But yeah, I feel like I'm just like on a tangent now. I don't even know what I'm really trying to get across. All I can say is I did enjoy the palette. If you did pick up any of their vaults over Black Friday, then I don't necessarily think you need this. I think for this palette, you would enjoy this and it would add some uniqueness into your collection if you are a beginner and you have no colorful palettes. Other than that, if you have a collection like mine, this just adds convenience because all the shades are right here for you. You don't need to grab so many different palettes to create different unique color combos, and the way it's laid out, it's very, very easy to take on. I'll leave it at that. That's all I kind of want to say. So yeah, that is pretty much my thoughts on the Fade into Hue palette. Hopefully I made sense and I wasn't all over the place. I'm a little bit in a daze today. I don't know, I feel a little bit off today. Not in a bad way, I'm not sad or anything, I just feel I don't even know what I'm doing right now, so hopefully I made sense in the review, and I hope you guys found that helpful with the swatches and the comparisons as well. But with that being said, we can now move into the 3 looks. I hope you guys will enjoy all of them. I had so much fun creating these looks, so hopefully you guys will enjoy the 3 looks. To begin with the first look, I'm going to start off with the shade Love Craft, and I'm going to take this at the outer corners of my eyes, just really blending this product at the outer third, and then I'll slowly bring what's left on my brush towards the middle of my eyes, but we do want most of the pink focus to be at the outer corners because we're going to be doing sort of like a two-toned eye look today. I also take that onto my lower lash line as well, just to start giving some definition there. Then I move into the shade Take It Easel, and I'm going to start packing this on at the inner third of my eyes and slowly diffusing that out into my crease. We want the pink and the blue to really blend into each other, and where the blue and pink meet, it's sort of going to make a little lilac shadow there, which is really pretty, and that helps with the diffused blend of the 2 shadows. You can also see that I'm taking a little bit into my inner corners as well, just a little bit to act as a base for our inner corner highlight later on. Then I'm taking the shade Fantasyland, and I'm gonna place this right at the center of my eyes where that pink and blue made that lilac shadow. I'm just gonna place that right over top that. It's going to sort of enhance that lilac just ever so slightly and also give a little bit dimension to our eyes since we are pretty much playing with mostly mattes in this eye look. Then I'm taking the shade Kaleidoscope, and this is the blue pressed glitter. I'm going to start packing that on at my inner corners to highlight that area as well. But I'm also going to take that onto my lower lash line right at the inner third to highlight that area. And I feel like highlighting the inner third of my lower lash line really creates this like very cutesy eye look, and I think when we're playing with such pastel colors, it's a very cutesy look, and I think it gives to the entire vibe. Then I'm gonna go into my black liquid liner and I'm gonna start creating my wing just like how I normally would do it. I do go in with my black eyeshadow on an angle brush to help just smudge and to perfect my wing. I will then go in with the Colourpop BFF liquid liner in the shade Graceland, which is their white liner, and I'm going to start creating my graphic wing. I do have a tutorial on how I do my graphic wing. I will leave it in the cards here, but pretty much I just line a wing on top of my black liquid liner, and then I'll take that point and run another wing along my crease line, if that makes sense. I felt like if I just did black liner, I think it would have been too harsh against the really pastel blues and pinks, so I thought I would add a bit of white to really add back that cutesy vibe. I then take the creme gel liner in the shade Good Reef, and I'm going to use this to tightline in my bottom waterline, but only at the outer third. And then lastly, popping on my lashes, I am wearing Birdie from Petite Cosmetics. And this, you guys, is the first look completed. I wanted to do a pink and blue color combo because I have these little pom-pom earrings that I wanted to match with, but I really love how this look turned out. I think with any color combo you choose to do with this palette, you can fall back to this technique, and the color stories are endless. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first pastel look. For the second look, we're going to start off with the shade Bonus Point, and this is going to be our transition shadow. So I'm first going to start working that at my outer third, and then slowly working that in towards my crease and towards the inner part of my lid space. We just want to diffuse and blow the shadow out because it's going to be our base color. So I also take that onto my lower lash line as well, just sweeping that from the outer corner right to the inner corner. Now I am taking the shade Love and Warhol, and I'm going to start packing this on at the outer third of my eyes. We want this like soft gradient effect, so just using circular motions to get that blended at my outer third. I take that towards like the middle of my lid, but I'm gonna stop it there. And then I also take the same shadow onto my lower lash line, just pressing that up against my waterline. And I'm also gonna focus this towards the outer third and then towards the middle. We're not gonna take it all the way in to the inner corners. Now I am taking the shade Paradise and doing exactly the same thing, but I'm taking an even smaller brush, and I'm really gonna focus this just at the outer corner. I just want to like deepen out the outer corner ever so slightly, and it's just going to give us like this beautiful warm sunset gradient. So just adding that pinky red at the outer corner is going to give us that smooth gradient blend that we are aiming for. And now I'm taking the shade Shine Bright. I'm going to place this at the inner third of my lid space. I'm gonna really diffuse this out. I don't want it to be so harsh and like a cut crease like. So I'm gonna diffuse this out around my crease area, and I also take that in towards my inner corners as well. And then taking the shade So Precious, this is the Orange Pressed Glitter. We're going to use this to highlight our inner corners and also the inner third of our lower lash line. So very similar to what I did in the first look with the blue glitter. I've just been really liking this like intense inner corner highlight, and especially on my lower lash, like that inner third, highlighting that area. I don't know, it gives a very cutesy vibe. It is a pressed glitter, so just be extremely careful. You could just go in with a normal metallic and do this, that's completely fine. And now I'm just taking my brown liquid liner. I'm going to use this to align my lash line, mainly at the outer third, and I'm also going to use this to create a wing. I do go in with some dark brown and black eyeshadow. I just take a mixture to smudge out and extend my wing. And then taking the creme gel liner in the shade Extra Frosting, I'm going to use this to tightline my bottom waterline. This is pretty much a white. It has like a little yellow undertone to it. And then to finish off the look, I am popping on my lashes. The lashes I'm wearing today are from Petite Cosmetics in the style Birdie. And this, you guys, is the second look completed. We definitely went on the warmer and brighter route, but I really loved how this look turned out. I love the sunset gradient that we did. For me, because I'm in my summertime, I'm just like living for this color story, and I had to whip out my little daisy earrings to complete the look. So yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed this second summery sunset look. And now we are onto the final look. I'm going to start off with the shade Zeitgeist, and I'm going to start packing that on at the outer third of my eyes. You can see I'm just stamping on the product there first, and then I will slowly blend out the purple shadow up to my crease and towards the outer edges. We just want the most darkness and depth right at the outer corner point. I also take the same shadow onto my lower lash line as well, but I'm only going to focus that at the outer third, making sure we're connecting the shadows at that point. Next, I'm going to go into the shade Iconic, and I'm going to start packing that on to the center of my eyes. Again, just packing it on first to get the most pigmentation, and then I will slowly blend that up in towards my crease and also blending that into the purple shadow as well. Moving into the shade Bold Type, I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing, but we're going to be packing this on right at the inner third of our eyes. Again, just stamping on the product and then blending that up in towards my crease and also into the blue shadow. I then will take the shade Designer on a very small tiny brush. I'm going to focus this above the green into my crease area. This is just going to add a little bit more dimension and color to the eye look and a little bit of lightness. I then go back into the shade Iconic, and I'm going to run this on my lower lash line at the center, aligning it along with the blue that's on our lid space. And now taking the shade Pose, I'm going to use this to highlight my inner corners, and I'm also going to use a little bit on my lower lash line at the inner third. I'm doing that same intense inner corner highlight again. I've just been loving it. Clearly I did it for all three looks. And then I will go into the shade Lucky Charm, and this is the yellow pressed glitter, and I'm going to place that right on top of Pose, especially on the inner third of my lower lash line. I want this to shine and sparkle and just be quite intense, since we did use all mattes on our eyes and no shimmers. And now I'm just taking my black liquid liner. I'm going to be lining my lash line, creating a wing. I go in with a black eyeshadow to help extend and smoke out that wing. And also taking the creme gel liner from Colourpop in the shade Trick or Treat. I'm going to use this to tightline my waterline. And then lastly, I'm just popping on my false lashes. I am wearing Honey from Petite Cosmetics. Alright you guys, so this is the final look completed. We went all out. This look is very bright but yet still quite grungy and glam. Definitely something different and unique for me, and I just love the inner corner highlight. That's all I can stare at, but I hope you guys enjoyed this final look. And that, you guys, was my 3 looks. Be sure to let me know which look out of the 3 was your favorite down below. I personally love, I think, look 2. I wish I didn't wear those contacts. You know, I was like, let me try circle lenses again, and I just didn't like the lenses. But I love the look, but let me know which look was your favorite out of the 3. I tried my best to play with all of the colorways in the palette, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But if you guys did enjoy this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It would help me out so much, and I would appreciate it so much if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!